I Love Cats and Naps collection is now available. The link is in the description below. What is up you guys, and welcome into our awesome channel. Before we start, make sure to subscribe to see our daily entertaining videos and make sure to hit the notification button to stay tuned. In this video, a woman sees a photo of a dog surrounded by hungry vultures and saved his life. People can be incredibly mean to animals sometimes. Just ask one puppy whose story of being neglected garnered plenty of attention in no time. An image of a lonely puppy being surrounded by vultures went viral. While the picture was horrifying, no one knew what happened to the poor pit bull. But the vultures were getting awfully close to the pooch. At this point, it seemed like Lilo, the adorable pooch, was a goner. Lilo was not what most people think of when they hear word pit bull. She wasn't large or loud, and she wasn't vicious either. In fact, she was the total opposite of the stigma that most pit bulls get. But the gentle pup was still neglected. This was obvious by the photo taken of her. She actually looked as though she had lost her will to live. And unfortunately, that's exactly how she felt. Lilo was approximately 8 months old when the vultures targeted her. When locals saw this image, they became very concerned because they knew that when vultures circled, their prey would likely lose. But Lilo didn't seem bothered. She just stood there in her kennel made of plastic. She was trembling from the cold, but then a man took a photo that people assumed would save Lilo's life. Rob Brown was a Greensboro local news and record photographer. Brown first ran into Lilo on Christmas Day, and the pit bull wasn't in the holiday spirit. Brown snapped a photo of the vultures surrounding Lilo, and the photo became popular. But Lilo didn't seem to care about her predicament because she had been so neglected. So to make things worse, her owners were aware of the situation, but they did not do anything to help their pit bull, who needed saving from the vultures. Lilo didn't seem to care as the vultures got closer and closer. It was almost as if the pooch was giving them the okay to come and get her. She didn't even bark at the winged creatures, and the vultures seemed to taunt her by dancing around her kennel. One of them even pecked one of her ears, but Lilo didn't react. It almost seemed as though the vultures would finally get their prize. Lilo got plenty of attention thanks to the photo Rob Brown took of her. The people of Greensboro decided that they couldn't just let the dog continue living this way, so they took action. One person called the local animal shelter, and that shelter went to rescue Lilo. The vultures would have to get their meal somewhere else, but Lilo's owners were upset and promised to get their pit bull back, no matter what lengths they had to go to. Although Lilo had just been rescued, the shelter learned that her owners intended to reclaim her. But Lilo was only 8 months old and in danger of returning to the place where she was neglected. It seemed that she had been chained up most of her young life. The pit bull was also malnourished, and the shelter knew that she probably wouldn't survive if she went home. But then something awesome happened. Lilo's owners never showed up, which was not much of a surprise given how they had neglected her. It was obvious that they were glad someone took her off their hands. So Lilo was able to stay at the shelter and interact with others. She also received the attention she deserved, and despite the life she once led, she was open to cuddling because she needed love. But then the pup got bad news. Unfortunately, the Greensboro shelter told the community that they don't put up pit bulls for adoption. This was due to the negative reputation that pit bulls have gotten. Pit bulls are known for being aggressive, and most people look down on the breed. This meant that Lilo would never get to have a real home again, but to make things worse, since adoption wasn't possible, they would have to put her down. Whenever the shelter is unable to find a forever home for an animal, they have no choice but to euthanize it. Since the shelter had a lot of animals coming in, they couldn't afford looking after her. But despite her grim outcome, Lilo's legacy would continue to thrive thanks to the photograph. Also, her suffering would finally end. But in her final days, Lilo did something that no one could believe her capable of. The Merit Pitbull Foundation heard of Lilo's plight, which was fortunate for the pooch. The foundation is responsible for rescuing abandoned pit bulls and giving them permanent homes. And while others see a savage beast, they see an animal in need. So when they heard about Lilo, they jumped into action and collected the young pit bull, and shortly after that, Lilo had gotten her happy ending. It was love at first sight for Kiana Lynch, who stumbled across Lilo's profile on Merit Pitbull Foundation. When she learned what Lilo had been through, it melted her heart, so she immediately adopted her. But unfortunately, she learned that dog wasn't doing so well because she was so thin as a result of all the neglect. The pooch also had a skin condition, but with a little TLC, Lilo survived and made an incredible transformation. Lilo had a new lease on life, and Kiana has been trying to raise awareness of animal abuse through social media. Meanwhile, Lilo is like a brand new dog thanks to her and Rob Brown. This just proves you can change a life with just a little extra effort. Lilo's original owners had left her to fend for herself, and she nearly lost her life twice. But now she's totally happy, and there's something else. People now see what a cute and kind creature Lilo the Pitbull is, thanks to Kiana's updates. This has inspired others to give pit bulls a shot at adoption. Kiana's efforts prove that it's owners that makes the dog, not the breed. Lilo isn't fierce, and people can see that. The pit bull is back to full health and is doing great in her new home. But Kiana also had a major surprise for her beloved new pit bull Lilo. Lilo is totally happy now that she's not alone, and she's also a sister to two other dogs that Kiana owns. With her human's help, Lilo learned how to get along with her siblings, and the three are totally cool with each other. They don't even get into scuffles. Lilo can now enjoy the peace of mind she deserves, and it's all thanks to that one photo that stirred the community's heart. So guys, make sure to leave us your thoughts on Lilo and her original and new owners, and leave us a like if you enjoyed the video, and peace out.